So in this video I'm going to show you how to use a for loop. Now I already made the outside of the for loop, so I'm going to say a variable needs to first take the variable b, or the value b001, then b002 and then b003. So let me see if this works. And indeed it takes three values, right? The first round it takes this one, the second, the third, and the third here. Now let's say, you know, I don't want the name of the variable, but I want the actual variable, the vector. So let me just create like a sum of it to make it a little bit more well, small, easier to understand, because otherwise you will see many numbers. So now we see the sum of all these variables. So in the first variable we have a sum of 14,000, and it doesn't really mean anything. We can also just replace this by the mean. So then we have the mean. So on average people score a 2.55 in this data set on the first variable, a 2.79 on the second, and a 1.7 on the third variable. Now I think often people would like to use these commands to recode. So let's say, you know, you can just create a new variable. So new var and I'm gonna create this new variable with a letter R behind it. Yes. So then I have the new variable name, and then df new var. I'm going to create this name. This means, well, you can also put it NA. So this means that I create a vector in this data set that is labeled, so in the first round B001R, and it will just create a new variable with that label. So now I need to take from this new var, I need to take only those cases that are actually so let me say new var. So let me say, okay, I'm going to take the var. So from this new case, from this the data set, I'm going to take the var, which is, you know, if it is 1, let's say, then the new var, so let me just say, well, new var. So usually I do this with a $sign here, but now that's not possible because we don't really have the label for the new var. We can do it this way though, because new var, as we shall see, I will just print this every time we run it. I can just here get from the data set all the rows where the old variable is 1, and then the new variable needs to be 4. And this is done for all these different numbers until you reach the end. Right, so now I'm only going to do it for 2 numbers. Oh, and now of course we get this error because there's no missings inside. Right, so there's missings inside. So let me just use the same notation as before, where we say, you know, I don't want to exclude, I don't want to include the missings. It should not be missing. Yeah, and indeed it prints the new var, which is the label with R next to it. And then I can just use a cross table to see, you know, whether it worked out. And indeed, you see that the first, on the first variable, the B001, when those who have a 1 answer the 1 are now labeled 4 in the new variable, and those who are labeled 4 are now labeled 1 in the new variable. Yeah, so in the new variable we only have levels 1 and 4 because that's how we defined it.